So when he sends me his little email and I tell him and F his family, and I don't give a F about him or them.
Thank you. Peace, 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 peace. I'm Rami Salamel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Before I get to the topic, yes, we're going to talk about traitors and exposing them in CANAANLAND and Kudjo. Before I get to that, I want to send a message to my family, specifically my children. Much love to y'all, Cam, Kayla. I love y'all, miss y'all. And I'm doing this to show y'all, especially you, Cam, being a leader, this is how we got to conduct ourselves. This is how we move with integrity and respect. Even when people are disrespecting you, even when people are being evil with you, you ain't gotta go down to their level. You ain't gotta match their energy. Keep yourself elevated. You know what I mean? Uplift yourself. Keep spreading love. Keep moving forward with love. God is watching. God knows what's up, all right? All right, love y'all. See y'all soon. And also, for the Moors that are watching, specifically our true Moorish Americans out there, and this is reminding myself also, we got to stand on our principles. We got to follow the laws and the teachings that Noble Drew Ali laid down for us. We have character, we have integrity, we have principles that we got to live by. And we got to do that not just in the easy times, not when it's all, laughs and Islam and it's cool, no, in the pressure times. In times like this, when you may have somebody saying very nasty things about you and your family, we still, not just you, we still have to remain in our higher self. We still have to walk with love and truth and peace and freedom and justice, represent those principles, but we got to represent that love principle. And a special message to Kudjo. Even though you're sending the hate my way, it's still love. Yeah, it's still love. Because this is what I'm walking with. Why? This is what Noble Drew Ali taught me. Sent by Allah, our creator. And humbly, I'm suggesting you get back to love instead of hate. For your own soul, brother. For your own soul.
According to the Prophet's words, people who fail to obey the laws after being the head of the temple are considered traitors. Now, there's no reference point for where he got that from, but he's going to tell you about Matthew 7 verse 3 is a powerful verse. I better go check that verse. But he's not going to say, according to the Prophet's words, people who fail to obey the laws after being head of the temple are considered traitors. Where's that at?
All right, so now let's get to the topic of the day, exposing traitors and CANAANLAND more. Kudjo Adwo is the example because he's been calling and pointing the finger at every other person, and these people are dirty Moors, and these are sellouts, and all the temples is corrupt, and these people are traitors. And recently he's been pointing the finger at me and saying, oh, Rami is a traitor. He's a traitor, he's a sellout, and treason, and all of these accusations. But let's get to the facts. Let's get to the evidence. And then let's go from there and let's understand what's really going on. And before I get to what Noble Drew Ali said about traitor, let's just put the definition on the record just so that we're clear. And the definition of traitor in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, Merriam-Webster.com, it says, one who betrays another's trust or is false to an obligation or duty. One who betrays another's trust or is false to an obligation or duty. False to an obligation or duty. That's key, but I don't want to stop there. I want to be thorough. You know, Moors, we like to be about that etymology. And I have another dictionary that I'm going to read just to make sure that we're clear on traitor. And this is coming from the New Oxford American Dictionary. And traitor in here says, a person who betrays a friend, country, principle, etc. Principle, like love, true, peace, freedom, and justice. Now, let's get to the quote that Kudjo Adwo read that I sent him in the email. And it's calling to his attention because he keeps pointing the finger at people being a traitor. And if you don't have this is coming from the Moorish literature. If you do not have this, please email me at IAMHHtemple@gmail.com. Again, IAMHHtemple@gmail.com. I'll get it right to you. It's in the description box below, or you can just hit me with a comment in the video and I'll shoot you the link. It's no problem. But you should have this information so you can study it for yourself. Don't believe me. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to read it and study it for yourself so you will know. But in this letter, in the Moorish literature, there's a letter from March 11th, 1929, from Noble Drew Ali. And it says at the very bottom of the letter, when man fails after being placed head of the temple by the prophet, when man fails after being placed head of the temple, it's a grand sheik, by the prophet of obeying our divine laws and constitutions, he or she is a traitor, an enemy of the Divine Creed and unloyal to the National Government U.S.A, to which the movement is to make men and women better citizens. From the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So Noble Drew Ali said, not me, not what Rami says. Noble Drew Ali said, when man fails after being placed head of the temple as a grand sheik, so once you're in that position, if you fail to obey the laws, the divine laws and constitution, you're a traitor and an enemy of our divine creed and unloyal to the National Government U.S.A, which this movement is to make men and women better citizens of. So, let me help you understand why he said that. Where is this coming from? Why is he speaking about traitors? In the beginning of the letter, says Brother Crumpley Bay, the governor and chief head of the temple in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Brother Charles Bay, governor and chief head of the temple in Cleveland, Ohio. These two brothers are empowered by the prophet to investigate business, etc., of Temple Number 4 in Detroit, Michigan, because Lomax Bay has violated all divine laws of the prophet, even before the prophet's face, February 15th, 1929. He claims, Lomax Bay, he claims that the prophet has no more power and the finance from Detroit would be in his charge. He wouldn't send any to the prophet. This is important, praise Allah. Just so you understand what's going on. When the prophet was alive, there was a person running the temple, Lomax Bay, right, in Detroit, Michigan, and he said, I ain't sending no more money to the prophet. He ain't got no more power. The money is better with me. I'm keeping all the money. Now, it's a law. It's a law by law. Our divine laws, again, as Moorish Americans, we got to follow the law. We got to obey the law. It's a law that you have to send in your temple taxes, the finances, the reports of your finances and your business every month into the grand body and into the Supreme Grand Council. This is government. You can't just do what you want. It's structure. It's law and order. Yeah, Noble Drew Ali said, not what I said, not what I believe, what Noble Drew Ali set up. And now let's bring it back to the current. Kudjo has accused me of being a traitor. Traitor. But you heard the definition of traitor. And you heard an example of why someone was called a traitor, because they didn't send in the finance, right? Let me see if I can find. Let me get one more. Just so that you're clear. By the prophet. Think this over, you Moors. Okay? This is, again, in the Moorish literature. But traitors must be excluded from the books after having a fair trial by the head of their temple, and that must be sent into the grand body. And all members that are able to subscribe towards the uplifting fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. And those that are able and fail to act, fail to their obligations and duties, traitor, right? Those that are able to and fail to act are not Moors, but traitors to their cause and trust. Remember, it's talking about trust. And their nation, country, and are not allowed to share all the Moorish honors. And the penalty is, it is embezzlement of the faith of our creed. All heads of all temples must observe these laws. Let me read that last one again. All heads of all temples must observe these laws. By the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Now, has Kudjo, for an example. But this principle applies to all heads of all the temples, because we all have to be governed accordingly. But I'm using Kudjo as the example right now. Has Kudjo been following the law? He claims to be the head of CANAANLAND Moor Temple. Is he sending the finance reports? Well, actually, don't believe me. Let's hear from him himself.
So he comes again. Please stop falsely accusing me of being a traitor, Kudjo. Once again, no L, no hello, no hi, how you doing, no peace, no Islam, nothing. You're just diving right in, right? You haven't sent in the business and finance reports every month as Noble Drew Ali required all Grand Sheiks to do. Guaranteed, I have not. You haven't sent in the business and finance reports every month as Noble Drew Ali required all Grand Sheiks to do. Guaranteed, I have not. You haven't sent in the business and finance reports every month as Noble Drew Ali required all Grand Sheiks to do. Guaranteed, I have not. No, we have not sent in any business and any finance reports every month to anybody.
Yeah, we got a sign outside that says Moorish Science Temple of America. What do you mean we have to go to convention? Go to convention for what?
Now, that's unfortunate, but you heard him loud and clear, boldly, arrogantly. No, I haven't sent my reports in every month as I'm required to by law as a Grand Sheik. No, I haven't gone to the convention every year as I'm required to by law as a Grand Sheik. What Kudjo Adwo admitted about his own mouth, boldly, is that no, I haven't done the obligations and duties as a Grand Sheik. I haven't followed and obeyed the law as laid down to us by Noble Drew Ali. And according to Noble Drew Ali's words, not me, not what I'm saying, according to what Noble Drew Ali laid down and Kudjo's own admission, he would be considered a traitor. Not everybody else he's trying to point the finger to, and this gets to the crux of our issue as Moors, as Moorish Americans. Far too often, we always point the finger at everybody else. Oh, they doing this, and these people are to blame, and this people is corrupt, and these people is a traitor, and these people is a sellout, and this da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Always point the finger. But when it comes to taking responsibility, when it comes to accepting accountability, when it comes to correcting ourselves, looking ourselves in the mirror and making a change, we struggle a lot with this. You know what I mean? It's not just Kudjo. Kudjo has his issue, but it's bigger than Kudjo. I'm talking about us as a collective of people. You know what I mean? And we have to grow from that. We have to be willing to accept when we make a mistake and make a change, make better decisions. There's another shout out to my son and my daughter. They know I always talk to them about this. It's all right if you make a mistake. Let's just do better. Let's make the right choices moving forward. Right, Cam? All right, and this is how I wanna make this distinction and distinguish myself from Kudjo in this respect, because as I was bringing these things up to him and asking him humbly and respectfully and with love, despite the disrespect, saying, hey, Kudjo, you can do better than this, man. Correct yourself. You made some mistakes, and it's okay. But we have to accept and we have to make the corrections. As it teaches, matter of fact, as it teaches in the Quran, chapter 31, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, Justice. Says at the last line, finally, O son of society, examine thy heart, call remembrance to thy aid, and if in any of these things thou hast transgressed, make a speedy reparation to the utmost of thy power. And it talks about, it goes through things, for example, be faithful to thy trust and deceive not the man who relieth upon thee. It is less evil in the sight of Allah to steal than to betray, traitor, right? But if you make a mistake, Change that. Correct that. Make a speedy reparation to the utmost of thy power. So let me be clear and distinguish myself from the actions that Kudjo and that he's representing, and let me be what it is I'm saying that we're supposed to be. Instead of just talking the talk, let me walk the walk. I had created the International Asiatic Moorish Hip Hop Temple, a subordinate temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America, in 2013ish, 2014ish. And my whole mentality was, it was nobody around me that was up on this information. I couldn't contact anyone. So I said, well, I'm reading this. Okay. It says if you follow the laws and you can create your own customs. Okay. I'm doing everything right. Put out Noble Drew out front. Boom. So I said, I'll make a online temple. One, because I didn't have the funds to get a physical building, and two, I didn't have it was just me. So who will be in the temple but me? So I said, well, that's a waste of time and money. So I said, okay, I can make an online temple and put the necessary information. I had the Quran up there. I had the 101s. I had our charter. I had the Moorish literature, all the necessary documents that Noble Drew Ali brought. And the whole philosophy was to just inform everybody, and that anybody that wanted to come to the temple could come from wherever you were at. As we've, gone along in this journey, I've come to a better understanding of just how integral the temples are in terms of really living this. I get a lot of questions of, well, how do I work with my Moorish nationality, or how do I I get a lot of veteran, or not a lot, but I get some veterans. They'll say, I'm getting veteran benefits, so how does that work? Or just different things, just life. You know what I mean? Just your real day-to-day life situations. And I ran into the snag, and that's where the Supreme Grand Council and the governmental aspect comes in.
And also just a notification to anyone. If I'm ever in there, please correct me. I'm not above correction or fault, and most importantly, I just want to get things correct and wise and exact. So if I'm in error, please correct me so we can go the path. And I feel like if we put that energy out towards each other, we'll correct a lot of the misleading teachings that are out here.
Now, the clip of me in the India jersey, that was from about a year ago. And the clip after that was an interview I did with Kudjo in CANAANLAND from back in 2014. So I've been about holding myself and being held accountable. And that hasn't changed today, May 27, 2021, and continuing on. Hold me accountable. And that's why I haven't moved off of the Supreme Grand Council. That's the whole, when he says, Rami changed. That's what changed. I started studying more, and I gained a better understanding of how the temple is supposed to function, according to Noble Drew Ali. I was impatient. I had some great intentions with the subordinate temple. Again, a subordinate temple. I wasn't trying to run off and create my own temple and my whole own organization like some of these other people out here. I was trying to create my own temple in conjunction with the laws and customs of the main branch temple that Noble Drew Ali created. And once I understood, hey, you had a good idea, but you got to go about it the proper way, I stopped and I started asking questions. Who is on the Supreme Grand Council? So I can understand, how do I properly open a subordinate temple? I don't want to be out of order. I'm not trying to do my own thing. And that's the difference. I want to make that clear so that we have an understanding. Kudjo keeps still trying to point the finger. I can be held accountable. Yes, I made a mistake, and I'm doing my best to correct it. I can't say that Kudjo has ever said that. It's unfortunate, but I just want to make things clear. And I want to set this example, especially to my son, to my daughter, to new Moors out there. We got to hold ourselves accountable. We got to be okay with accepting that we may have made a mistake. We may have been in error. If someone is in error, correct them with love. You ain't got to bash them. You ain't got to demean them and degrade them. But we got to be right and exact. We have to follow the law. Come on now. Come on now. The biggest thing that I understand now more than ever, we got to follow in line with Noah Ali, man, to the T. You know what I mean? So if that is the rules, if that's the law, we got to follow the law. You heard it, but let me just make it extra, just super crystal Moorishy clear. I don't even know if Moorishy a word, but we rolling with it. All right, so it ain't no misunderstandings, no confusion. If you're a true Moor, if you're a true Moorish American, you got to follow the law. You got to obey the law and the teachings that was laid down to us by our divine prophet, Kudjo Adwo. And if you don't got faith in our prophet, if you don't believe that what he set up for us is right and exact for our people, and take off your fez and your turban, you know what I mean? And go back to that state that Kudjo Adwo found you in. Go do your own thing. Make up some completely different name. Don't call yourself a grand sheik and say that you're honoring Kudjo Adwo. Don't try to cause confusion. Go do your own thing separate from way over there. Because true Moorish Americans, we following Kudjo Adwo. Islam, all right now, all right. And so for the new Moors that's out there, man, and the Moors that have been in this movement, and people that are watching that may not be Moors, please understand that there are people in our movement that call themselves Moors and Moorish Americans and grand sheiks and leaders and master teachers and things like that. They call themselves these titles, but if you study Kudjo Adwo's teachings first and then compare what he taught to what they are saying, you'll be able to see the lies. You'll be able to see where people are distorting the teachings, where people are taking some of what Kudjo Adwo taught and doing their own thing. So please be careful not to be misled. And last but not least, another message goes out. And this is to anybody that's pushing hate towards me or anybody else. Please stop. We're supposed to be loving instead, especially if you're a Moor. If you're a Moorish American, you're supposed to be loving instead of hating. Stop the hate. Get out of your lower self. Uplift yourself. Walk with that love. Love is the key. Love is the way. I thank you for your time. If you have any more questions, please contact me at IAMHHtemple@gmail.com. Or see me on live. Ask me the question in the comment section. I'm right here. It's all love. Keep shining. Study Kudjo Adwo. And praise Allah. It's something I've been freestyling all the time. That cold track. That my baby. Another ride. Something like a sketch. I ain't black, said the man to the kettle. Ruby heart with some emeralds for the bezel. Can't settle. We ascending to that next level. On the way up, I say peace, devil. My metal is verbs and nouns. Peace Apollo, catch me in Rio, bending them sounds. Got the soul by the pound, let it cook for a while. Speaker serving that loud. Now you loving our style, magic cow like Houdini with a beanie, really affairs. And the graffiti in the city, hieroglyphics, you dig? Asleep, sipping Kool-Aid, eating ribs awake. The Moors back, putting together the pyramids, my lord. Last shall be first if I'm recalling. If this ain't prophecy, then we living in what you call it. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice is the calling. You witnessing the rise of the fallen, what up? Woo. In the Chi-Town, they saying what up? What up? What up? Reporting live from the rich, and we saying what up? What up? What up? Mobbing through the cosmos, saying what up? What up? What up? Live from Planet H.
finger to the sky. Only half of that 3005. The wizardry is cold, I promise not a lie. Jedi, dropping jewels that I picked up from Atlantis. Got the game from Propht that led to overstanding. Captain with 7 rings, we here to say the planet. Hey dude, in the flesh, devil screaming, God damn it. The weapons can't damage, straight jamming when you aim. Tried everything you could, and yet we still remain. Peace to all my brethren, we see Babylon in flames. Don't wanna feel the fire, they quit playing with our names. The last shall be first if I'm recalling. If this ain't prophecy, then we living in what you call it. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice is the calling. We witnessing the rise of the fallen.